Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's another episode of Is It Worth My Time? This time I'm going through and doing Motherland, Fort Salem, Season 1. So let me take care of some business first, then we'll get to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you're going to see a video pop up at the very end of this video. If you like that, hit the subscribe button. Up here is going to be the last video I just did, which is Future Man, the season finale, the season and series finale of Future Man is going to be up there. If you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below there. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. So best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule. I change it out every Monday on that. It's a weekly live stream schedule as to what I've got going on. And I also have all my social media on there too. So Twitter, Instagram, Patreon page, no tier set up as of yet. And what else do I have going on there? I also mirror that over on my Facebook page as well. And there's a Facebook group page which you guys can post stuff on and chat amongst yourselves. All right. So like I said, in the description of this video, I'm going to do a spoiler-free version first, and then I'm going to go into spoilers after that. So what is Motherland Fort Salem about? It's basically it's on Freeform. So the first thing you're going to say is like, "Oh my God, it's on Freeform. What the fuck are you doing?" No, actually, this was a decent show. I was watching it on Hulu, not Freeform. So that's how I caught it. I was like, "What is this?" And it looked kind of interesting. I read the synopsis, which is basically it's an alternate history where witches are real. During the Salem witch trials, one witch, Sarah Alder, ends up unleashing they can do vocalizations. They don't do spells. That's how their spells come about, is through vocalization. And she ended up stopping herself from getting hung, of course, during the Salem witch trials, and basically made a pact called the Salem Accord to have witches join the well, it was before the U.S. started, of course, become part of the militia, and then later on they became part of the in the Constitution, all witches are conscripted. So now we're in modern day time. Sarah Alder is still alive. She's still leading the army. She's still the general there. She's very old, of course, and everyone who is a witch is conscripted into the military. And that's what this is. This is all about 3 cadets that are going through basic training in military, and you get all this different background. It was kind of interesting. It wasn't based on a book. It's not based on a comic or anything like that. This is something that is that was kind of fresh out the gate there, and it's not bad for world building. It does some really good world building on this. So you can't really, if you're looking for something a little different, this is something that's a little bit different. And the other thing is you're either born a witch or you're born a human, one or the other. And they can tell by usually get a little mark on you someplace on your body that you're a witch. Here's a witch burner. So there you go. So is it worth your time? Yeah, if you like stuff that is, it's got an alternate history. Like I said, it's actually got a pretty good, rich backstory for this world. It's military is really what it is. It's about, going through basic training and then, of course, fighting an enemy or enemies or whatever out there. And there's also some intrigue that's involved in there as well. And yeah, it's an interesting take on witches. That's all I can say on that, for the spoiler-free version of this. So give the first 2 episodes a try and see what you think of it. It's only 10 episodes, the series, for the season, for season 1. So it's not that long, quite honestly. So Penn says, I added this show to my long list, but I haven't watched it yet. Sounds good. Yeah, it's an interesting show. So and it's got an interesting cast too. Actually, I was kind of surprised from Project Blue Book. The secretary from Project Blue Book, she's in this briefly. She's in like 2 or 3 episodes as one of the witches in basic training. She is one of the sergeants or colonels. I can't remember what she is, but yeah, she's in there too, which is kind of interesting. Because I was looking at her, I'm like, she looks kind of familiar, but she had her hair down and everything, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know who she is. And yeah, she's been in quite a few things, but it was kind of a pleasant surprise. So, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the rest of this. So if you haven't watched it, go away. Come on back when you have watched it, and this will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. So, for those of you who have watched the series, we know that there is a enemy out there called the Spree. And the Spree are basically terrorist witches that are going out, and they are. It's interesting how they're doing this. So, like I said, witches have vocalizations. That is how they are casting their spells. They actually have a certain voice box. Their voice box looks different than regular humans. And so what the Spree are doing is they're taking balloons or soccer balls or anything that has air in it, that can trap air in it, and they are trapping a certain spell, like a song in there. They're called songs, is what they're called, and they're releasing it into the public. And so they'll go into a mall and have a balloon float away, and it explodes. And anyone that's within hearing range that hears it does whatever that spell causes them to do. And in most cases, it's kill themselves or kill others, or that kind of stuff. Basically, create some kind of mayhem, and that's what the Spree are all about. And that is what the militia, of course, or the army is trying to fight against. We also find out as this series progresses. So there's something weird in the United States of this world. Is in the middle of the country, there's something called the Session. We don't know what it is. All we just know is that it's kind of like a no man's land in a way, that almost like a dust bowl, and people do live there. Actually, the main character, Rael, comes from there, and she has, like, backwoods magic or whatever that she uses to heal people. And so there's healers, there's people that can talk to the dead, there are people that do melee, all kinds of stuff, people that can communicate, people that can actually see, um, things around them without actually using their eyes, kind of thing. They can sense it. So there's all kinds of different powers that these witches have, and they all specialize in them. So that's how they do this, which I thought was interesting. They did a good job of this, of thinking things out. And it's not boring. That's the other thing too, is it's really not boring. They have this thing that is a little patch, if you will, that absorbs into the skin they put on their neck, that allows them to float or fly for a short distance, so they can deploy out of an airplane or out of a helicopter or something like that, and they can float down to the ground without having to use a parachute or a rope or anything like that, which was kind of cool. The witches also have like a whip that is part of their weaponry that they use, as well as their voices. And the whip has it actually glows on the end and is pretty powerful in and of itself. So you have the Spree that they're fighting against, and then you also have an ancient um, hunters that are called Camarilla, that have been going after witches. And General Alder, Sarah Alder, who's now over 300 years old. We know that, at least. And how does she live to be that long? Is she has this group of women around her called the Biddies, and they're old women. And essentially, what she does is she is draining them of their life force to keep herself young. And it's supposed to be an honor to become one of the Biddies. So you're basically a young cadet, or fresh out of, just about ready to graduate, and you get called up to be a biddy, and she basically sucks the life force out of you. And then when you're gonna die, you kind of revert back to who, your age, and then she takes somebody else on. But yeah, it was like I said, it's very well thought out. It's a very well thought out world. It's not half-assed. There's nothing in it that kind of made me went, huh? It was really good. And also, for those of you who go, oh, it's got females in it, oh my god, just fuck off. Yeah, it's not, the feminist agenda or anything like that in there. It's very unusual for Freeform. Exactly, Penn. This was like completely out of left field for Freeform. This is something that I was kind of going, really? This is on Freeform? And yeah, Siren is shit compared to the. I mean, this is yeah, and it's got action in it. It's got sex in it as well, which I was kind of surprised on Freeform. I was like, really, sex? Okay, um, male and female sex. So they mix it up a little bit here and there. You also have some warlocks in there too, but they're few and far in between. Um, and we also have Scylla, which is another recruit who is trying to. We see that she's part of the spree from the very beginning, and she actually is at the academy as well, and she is trying to get Rael in for some reason. For some reason, the spree want her, and kind of figured it out pretty early on. I want to say by episode 3, I'm like, oh yeah, it's because Rael's mother was a witch who died out in combat, supposedly. Um, and it's actually Rael's mother who is the head of the spree, and she, of course, we find at the very end. Oh yeah, she actually wanted her, and Scylla messed up, and of course, Scylla most likely is going to die. Um, excuse me. We also have the witches usually have a trio that train together. So you have a another witch called the Bellwether, Abigail Bellwether, in this group, who is basically her lineage is stuff of legend. So of course she has to live up to that. Her mom is a general as well, and she of course needs to live up to that. And she thinks the others are weighing her down. And then the third one is kind of a hippie chick, Tally, and she was living out on a commune out in California. Hippie chick, like I said, and she joins the army against her mother's wishes, of course. So they all have their own different stories that you have going on in here. And like I said, it's got a very rich backstory. I'm not even scratching the surface on half the stuff of this series. And really, and this is the spoiler part of it too, Um, so yeah, it's fairly interesting. If you haven't seen it, give it a look, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. Pen Farm Girl said, I didn't completely hate Shadowhunters, but it was so geared to young girls. Yeah, this one, I don't know if it's really geared towards young girls or not. It's kind of hit the middle of the road of where it's not tweens that they're going after. It's not actually it's kind of an even audience that they're shooting for this show, to tell you the truth. And that's what I kind of liked about it too, was that it was an easily accessible show. It wasn't something that was oh my god, this is a teen show, or oh my god, this is men are bad show, or something like that, like those incels would say. Or so, anything like that. It didn't have any kind of message other than the story that it wanted to tell, which was good. um and quite honestly, and you have, everyone complains about having no strong female characters on TV. This show is populated mainly by women, and they're all badass in this one. So there you go. There is a way of doing it, and not having to hit people over the head with it or call attention to it or anything like that. You just do it. Like I've said before on this podcast, I've said, you don't need to go, oh, well, it's a female led blah, 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 blah. No, you don't need to do that. Just go, hey, it's a story about 3 cadets that are going through basic, and they're witches. There you go. And it works. So Pen Farm Girl says, maybe they're actually improving. I need to move it up on the list. Did you say season 2 is? Yes, season 2 is confirmed. Correct. And the woman who plays General Alder has been promoted to a series regular now. I guess she was just a guest star and I can't remember her name all of a sudden. I got the IMDb up here. Lynn Renee is her name. So she has been promoted to series regular. So Rael is played by Taylor Hickson. You've probably seen Taylor in a few things here and there. She's been there as well. Scylla is Amelia Holm is her name. Tally is played by Jessica Sutton, and Abigail is Ashley Nicole Williams. These are all people that you probably don't know the names to for the most part because, they are fairly young, and I think they were kind of skewing more towards uh, teenage shows and all that kind of stuff. That's how they started off, and yeah. I see your point. Some people want bragging right now. What do you mean about that, Joker? About bragging? Oh, bragging about what their shows are about and or whatnot, or trying to promote certain items to their shows instead of just saying, "Hey, here's an entertainment show. We're going to entertain you, and this is what it is. Here you go." Yeah. So. And that's what it was. It's an entertaining show, and I'm looking forward to season 2, to tell you the truth. I will definitely be catching up on that one because it's a good show. It's actually decent, and it had some, it has a little bit of humor to it too. Not a lot, but a little bit. It also left a lot of intrigue. There were some questions that were left in there, like I want to know what that mushroom goo was, the wall that's inside uh, the place where they teach the dead, the ones that can speak to the dead, the witches that can speak to the dead, have their own little weird lab, I guess you could say. And I want to see what's going to happen with that. Also, of course, I want to find out what happens with her mom and what happened to Scylla, if Scylla's going to live or not on this. Joker says, excellent behind the scenes to help you follow the plot. Yeah. Joker says it made the explosion at the end and saved them. Oh, so the other thing too that was the big, at the season finale was Tally ends up becoming one of the biddies, and it's because they are in the heart of battle. One of the biddies actually gets shot, and they need Alder, of course, in order to get out of the situation that they're in. So Tally's like, "Fuck, take me, go for it." And she ends up, becoming old and is now part of the biddies group. Jay Hicks says, I just watched the preview. The show looks good. It's actually really good, Jay Hicks. You'll enjoy it. It is worth your time. Yeah, the story's written very well. Like I said, the world building is really good. The characters are fleshed out. You don't have wooden characters. Even the minor characters that are just coming in for a little bit have backstories to them. Even a character, Abigail's cousin who gets killed has a little bit of backstory to her, even though she's only in it for like maybe 10, 15 minutes. But she has a little bit of backstory to her. And that's what's good about this is you have a writer, and I can't remember who created this series, but he's created other stuff before as well. And good stuff, I guess you could say. And that's what you want in someone who's creating a series, is to actually think through what their characters. Claus, thank you, Joker. Yes, he did Claus. So yeah, he is an experienced TV writer. He knows what he's doing, and it shows. That's, again, like I said, I've said it time and time again. If you don't have good writers, you don't have someone who actually cares about the world building or anything like that, you're not going to get a good show out of it. You're just going to get something that's superficial, something that's crap, and something that pretty much devolves into like, I can leave it on and I don't have to pay attention to it. Yeah. Yes, Will Ferrell is the one of the executive producers as well. That's right. I forgot about that. I saw that flash by too, and I was like, "Oh, really?" So yeah, there are a lot of people involved in this thing. So give it a shot. If you got Hulu, it's on Hulu. The entire season's up there. And if you've got Freeform, or cable or something like that, you should be able to catch up on that in, on demand, something like that as well. So good stuff. So, what else do I have going on this week? Tomorrow I'm off. Friday is going to be the excellent Harley Quinn. That's right, another episode of Harley Quinn. Saturday I'm off because hopefully I get hot water this time around. It's been a while, and man, it's been a rough one. Sunday is going to be Sunday morning blast off, hopefully, and Monday is going to be, what is Monday? Oh, that's right, Monday is Stargirl. I forgot what I was doing on Mondays. Monday is Stargirl. Tuesday, I don't know what I've got going on at the moment. I haven't decided yet what I'm plugging into Tuesday. Wednesday, of course, is going to be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And I believe I might be doing Space Force is what I might be doing if I get through it. It's the new Netflix series with Steve Carell. So yeah, I'll be doing that. Yeah. Yes, Sunday is blast off. Is Sunday morning blast off. It's moved over to Sundays temporarily until I can, get this shit done with my water heater. So yeah, that's what's going on. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. And also go down in the comment section down below there and shoot me some stuff if you are interested in seeing, is it worth my time? I'm looking at new stuff. I'm looking at some older stuff too. I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do for some of this stuff. And who knows, I might expand and do a little, do a couple of more during the week kind of thing. Yes, really, Joker. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. If you like that, hit the subscribe button. If you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, hit the bell. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. So best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at my weekly schedule up there. And then also all the social media links are there too. Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. Up here is going to be Future Man. So it's going to be up there. Yeah, I've had a full day of work. Plus, I also had to take the dog to the vet and all kinds of stuff. It's been a long day. So I'll let you guys go. Thanks everybody, and I will see you again on Friday for Harley Quinn. So until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get hexed by a witch. Thanks everybody. Take care, and I will see you on Friday. Have a good night.